Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back in with another sequence of the end times video. This one is I found in a rap song, so I found this as well in Wu-Tang Clan Impossible. I have a affinity towards this group just because I listened to them quite often, years ago. And one of the members is an individual named Lamont Jody Hawkins, and his name in the group is called You God. It's like your God, you God. And is also known as Golden Arms. And so I want people to understand the so-called Negroes in America are the biblical Jews, and they're a spiritual people. It's absolutely amazing the amount of devastation that they've experienced, but that's just incredible. To think of that a group of people can be brutalized that much has to be Bible prophecy. And so I want people to know, we don't just accept it simply because, of their situation, but just know that they're a spiritual people, and then God is going to use everybody, but certainly them to prophesy, and even through rap music. And I've shown that in that song Impossible, and then this one as well. We find the sequence of the end times. And so just in his name, he's declaring a spiritual truth. And then I'll explain that in the song itself, You God, and Golden Arms is a spiritual reference to Christ when he returns with his elect. His arms, his right arm is going to be his elect, and then they're going to have power, and then they're going to be destroying with him in these so-called UFOs, with heat, with fire. And so there's truth, biblical truth just in his name, just his name itself, Golden Arms. And You God. But the song is called Bizarre. It's probably one of his better known songs that he did on his own. And so I'll just go through the parts that, are spiritual, and then honor the sequence that I teach. First, he's like, talk what I walk, I stalk with bronze feet. And so that is a biblical reference to Revelation 1:15, where Jesus Christ is described as having bronze feet. I'll read this in King James. And his feet were like unto fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace, and his voice is the sound of many waters. So he had a very powerful voice. He had to, because they didn't have like speakers and microphones and all that, when he would preach. And so that is a reference to, the Bible, just from the first line itself, bronze feet. So then we have first just a reference to Jesus. Now jump on the jam with 36 peaks. So 36 is 666. And so this is a lead up to salvation when 36, quote unquote, 666 is at its peak. And so now skipping down a few verses, now take the Spirit, crash more clear, take the Spirit, salvation. Skipping down, so uplift the mind, boy, I'll bring out the sun. So in the sun, in S-O-N is Christ. And so uplift the mind, which is another word for our spirit. So uplift the spirit, the soul. Okay, so now we're getting reference to salvation. Because rich, poor, or small, we are all shining stars. Okay, and so if you look up that word star in the Bible, it's the term for it is aster. Okay, and so I want people to understand that there are references to that term referencing angels. The seven stars are the angels of the seven churches, and this is in Revelation 1:20. And so a star can refer to an angel. And then just know that one of the major narratives of this whole thing is a group of angels to be restored back to their place. Mark 12:25, for when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels which are in heaven. And so that's Christ's response to a question of, marriage. But he's stating that the ultimate narrative for all this is to have this group be restored to this place and be as angels, that are in heaven. And so that's ultimately God's elect. And so only a small group of people will understand that. But when You God is saying here, Lamont Hawkins is saying, we're all shining stars. He's speaking of biblical truth. A lot of people won't get it. I certainly didn't get it when I first heard this song years ago. But because rich, poor, or small, we are all shining stars. Okay. So That's God's elect. So we have a reference first in these first few verses of God's elect. Now, first of all, yo, we ain't no saints. And so now we have a reference to the Great Tribulation, which is the sifting of the mixed multitude. So they're not the saints, but they're obviously still part of God's right-hand side. And he's sifting them out, okay? So, yo, first of all, we ain't no saints. So it's a distinction between the saints and then now this other group, the mixed multitude. Now we're going to have references to Christ returning with his elect, with power to destroy. The underdog stranger, super freak hot blast. And so all these outcasts and all these, quote, strangers, the underdogs, are going to return in these so-called UFOs and have the ability to shoot fire. And this fire is going to destroy body and soul. Kiss my redemption with a fistful of sting. Swift with the gifts, it's the God body squad. So it's Christ returning with his, quote, body and in these so-called UFOs. It's not a myth. We defy all laws. So these UFOs defy all laws of physics. They're just able to like move and do things, like just appear and disappear and shoot fire and all that. It's not a myth. The Bible is not a myth. And these UFOs with God's elect are going to defy all laws of physics. Now, reach for the stars, now top to the limit. And so this is, again, Christ returning with the stars, which represent angels, God's elect, now top to the limit. Okay, so they're going to be up in the sky. Now we have an interesting reference, the cliffhanger vaccine, man and machine. Why would you God talk about this? And then the same thing with Impossible, Wu-Tang. Why are they speaking about America being cremated in that other song? These are a spiritual people, okay? God is prophesying through them, and then it's very easy to miss this, but we see it now. The cliffhanger vaccine, man and machine, okay? And so this is when Christ returns with his elect to destroy everybody who's taken the mark of the beast, which we know what it is now. I won't stop the war till y'all drown in my drum. Okay, so he's a rapper, so he's going to talk about drowning in his drum. That's his like instrument. But when Christ returns with his elect, it's going to be in these so-called UFOs. And they won't stop the war until they drown in those. Just kill everybody. Now it's time. Now it's up from the hell with the olive oil voice. So like I described, in Revelation, like it's written there, Christ with his commanding voice, in Revelation 1:15, that his voice was like the sound of many waters. And so now it's up from the hell with the olive oil voice. So hell is the earth, and then up in the sky is going to be Christ, with his commanding voice. Golden arm song, truly to restore the earth's beauty. That's the purpose of Christ returning, to destroy those who destroy the earth, okay? And so he's saying golden arms, but again, this is Christ with his elect, and the arms are able to shoot fire, burn, golden, that reference to fire. Now, grant me a beast, stamp kill me with the jury. And so now we have a reference to the beast. Everybody who's taken the mark of the beast, like I read earlier, the cliffhanger vaccine, man and machine. Okay, it's amazing. When I tone a cappella, hell has beauty. And so now it's talking about a cleansing of hell, which is the earth being cleansed. And now it's going to have beauty after it's cleaned. A force has awakened breathtaking vengeance. Okay, my appetite of destruction is official cyclones. And so if you read Isaiah 66:15, it talks about Christ returning with his chariots like a whirlwind, like a cyclone, okay? And so just to destroy everything. So, I'll just leave it up to people to go read that. But Isaiah 66:15 is being referenced here indirectly, whether he knows it or not. My appetite of destruction is official cyclones. Then there's like a little, then it's a hook, and then it's, a kind of a martial arts sample. Time and again in the past, the court has given orders. And so from the highest courts, the orders have been given to go out and kill everybody with the mark of the beast, with his elect, to wipe them out. Be the shinin and a good teacher. Good teacher is Christ. He's the only one that's good. Who is this man? The God of war. And so even in this rap song by You God, Golden Arms, it has a sequence of the end times. It describes Christ first and foremost. It describes 36 at its peak. The sins have reached unto heaven. Then it describes take the spirit, okay? Then it says, now, first of all, yo, we ain't no saints. And so now it's sifting out the mixed multitude. Then it talks about Christ returning with his elect to destroy everybody with the mark of the beast. And we know what it is, man and machine. We see that line that I just read, the cliffhanger vaccine, okay? And so, again, even in this rap song, it honors the sequence of the end times. And so we might be onto something. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye.